I met Mr. Tom when he first needed help in driving. I show up at his house at about 8:30. I pick him up. We drive first to Costco, where we pick up products that have been returned, things that we can use here at the hospital. We then go to Trader Joe's, where we pick up the flowers that they deem unsellable. We really start each other's week off well. I think it was definitely something that was meant to be.
The night that I retired, I went to Publix shopping center and they were throwing bread and things away. And I said, why are you doing that? They said, because they're day old and nobody would buy it. I said, well, if I could find a place for it, would you let me pick it up? And they said, are you serious? I said, yes, I like to do that. They said, well, we'll let you do it one time and you won't come back. So I took it to Ronald McDonald House. They loved it. So I came back to the guy and he said, well, you got another place you can take? Well, there's another Ronald McDonald over at Emory. I said, okay, so I picked that up. So when I came back the next day and they said, could you do 5? And I said, well, I figured out 7 I could do. I got 3 churches that have soup kitchens. I've already checked with them. And so we'll pick it up for 7 days. My wife and I have done that until her death for 20 years.
So in 1997, my son was 2, and he was brought to Children's at Scottish Rite to the emergency room, and they told us that he had a big infection in his eye, and they had to check to see if it had gone to his brain. And so they said, we're going to do a CAT scan. So I called my parents, and I'm like, this isn't good.
So after about 8 hours, I said, well, I got some stuff in my car that I was going to take to Ronald McDonald House. I'm going to bring it to y'all. So they said, well, hey, that's great. They said, could you do that again? And I said, well, I'll do it next week. And so that's how I started, every week, bringing them donuts and pies and cakes and bagels.
He came to love everybody in the ER. So they've just always had a big place in his heart. It's great. It's a really great, relationship.
They're what I call my folks. I bring them flowers on Friday, I bring them pizzas on Saturday, and I bring them chips on Sunday, and I've done it for over 20 years.
Every time I go to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, I can count on Mr. Tom's support and care. Lots of sweet treats.
He always put a smile on my face. He always had a smile on his face for everyone that came into the hospital. I was so glad when he came into my life. We made so many memories.
I distinctly remember my first impression of him was, wow, this gentleman has set the bar really high for my expectations for volunteers.
So after Dad retired in '95, and within a few years we established Mr. Tom's Heart in order to have a 501c3 to be able to get grant money and to be able to help the children and the families. He helps people, of course, at Children's, also at Solidarity Sandy Springs, Calvary Children's Home, Benson Senior Center, and Ronald McDonald Houses.
So there are so many different community groups, different community volunteers that he works with, and Children's is just one benefactor of many organizations here that benefit from his generosity.
We have been fortunate to get grants to help us to grow, to be able to help more people. And Dad also uses his money. We have no employees, just lots of volunteers. That's what keeps us going, is so many people volunteering and helping.
I do have over 400 volunteers. Nobody at Mr. Tom's Heart is their own salary. Everybody donates. And that's what we're about. We want to help other folks.
Mr. Tom provides meals for our patients and families on a weekly basis in our oncology and blood disorder unit. Through that, he also feeds our staff. He provides flowers from Trader Joe's. He brings those to our library each week so that our patients and families can make floral arrangements. And then he also provides various snacks and treats for the entire hospital. I don't think there is a single unit that's not been touched by his generosity.
Good man.
We
we have an event every Monday. It's called Flower Arranging with Holly because I love the flowers so much. We sometimes have 2 buckets of flowers and sometimes we have 12. So we pull them out of my car and load them all up, and we wheel them in just right through the main lobby of the hospital where everyone is throwing a hand up and waving and saying hello. And right into the library, Tom and I sit there and we cut them all out of their cellophane. We put them in fresh water, so we have vases and flowers where patients and families can come and make flower arrangements for free and take them up to their room.
The children that come in that do the picking themselves, their combinations are unbelievable. I'm colorblind, I'm so glad I am, because somebody started telling me the colors, I said, I can't believe it. But I love it because the children really enjoy it, and it's just a wonderful thing for them to get out of their room and just have fun.
The gardens, the staple of the hospital, just February of this year, there wasn't a flower out there. When we pick up the flowers, there would be plants in there. So we just all started planting, and in 6 months, I mean, we have turned that little garden into just a little piece of heaven outside of this hospital.
The Medallion Project started a few years ago. Mr. Tom developed arthritis. So his doctor suggested coming up with an activity that would keep his hands mobile. So what he did, he decided to turn to pottery. And that turned into him making individual medallions for patients and families. They are typically in the shape of hearts to honor Mr. Tom's heart. They're different stamps. He creates them for different holidays, whether it's Mother's Day or Father's Day, or specific for children. So he shapes everyone, he stamps everyone, and he hand paints each one, and then also ties a ribbon so that it can be used as an ornament, a little keepsake for patients when they leave.
We fix it so they can put their date on the back when they were in the hospital, and then they hang them up on their Christmas tree. Now I've got a request from me for 1,500 medallions for Merry Christmas, and that's a big undertaking. So I've got some people here at the Zone who are helping me color them, and then we're firing them, and then they look great. And so that's what we'll do on my birthday when I'm 90. I'll furnish cupcakes for everybody, and they can pick up their medallions for Merry Christmas.
He has, no doubt, the world's biggest heart. So thank you, Mr. Tom. I'm so glad you came into my life, and I know my family is too. We're forever thankful for you and never stop doing what you're doing.
He will honestly say, the Lord is in command, and so I know that that is what makes him tick.
He just never ceases to amaze me. We kind of joke and call him the mayor of the hospital. We say, he's the mayor and we're all just working here.
Thank you for your encouragement throughout my entire life. As I continue to grow up, I pray I can serve others like you. I love you, Mr. Tom.
People kid me about Friday because I'm always outside for about an hour after we've done our deliveries of our flowers, and I could see all of them go home. They get you right here. Hey, you can't buy that.